this meeting of the Marlborough Council order. Everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for the armed services. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
you. Brenda, may we please have roll call?
Counselor Andrews.
Present.
Counselor Catalani.
Here.
Counselor Flegel. Counselor Caroli.
Here.
Counselor Riddell.
Here.
Did I say that right?
Rydell.
Rydell.
Just remember
Like
Grease.
the high
Yeah,
school
like
Grease.
the movie Grease.
Okay. Counselor Touche.
Here.
Counselor Shear.
Here.
Mayor Carpenter. We have a quorum.
Okay. Just a reminder to all council members, please make sure your microphones are on. And also, please silence all cellular devices during the meeting. Thank you. No special visitors scheduled, which takes us to public comment period number 1. Please state your name and address for the record and try to limit your comments to 5 minutes.
Look, they're seeing to see who goes first.
Hi. Oops. You have to come up to the podium.
Oh.
Speak.
I'm louder than you are. Uh-oh.
You may have to take a seat and come back up a second time.
I broke the mic already.
There you go.
Maddie Reed, 233 East Hazel Street. Has the water been turned on over at Memorial Park, or will it be for the fountain?
It's on, isn't it?
John?
It's on? Okay. What about the bathrooms? Are they for everybody, or no? Are they unlocked?
No, they won't be.
They won't
Unless
be.
you rent the park.
Okay, so do you think you should put like a porta potty type thing there, or not?
For what, Maddie? What's the
For
park?
anybody that wants to use the park to,
If you rent the park, you can get a bathroom
I know,
key.
but sometimes people are there more than just renting the park.
No, you've seen the graffiti, you've seen the damage that we've had. We open up those bathrooms, they're gonna be trashed.
Okay, just asking.
Yep.
Okay, I thought at one time they were gonna put a walking path down at Southeast Park. Is that still in the making or no?
Council said no.
What? And now we still have all those millings laying over there on, okay, what the heck? No, I don't go. Okay, the clock downtown. I can't stand it. Other people can't stand it. Why does it even have to remain if it's not doing nothing but not working and costing money? And I know some people say, well, there's names on there and those people will be upset. And did you ever go to those people and say, you know, we're spending a lot of money on this clock and it's not working. Do you mind if we take it away? People have phones today with their time on it. Maybe people wear watches anymore, I don't know. Your car always has a phone in. Okay, good girl. Do we really need that clock there?
I will tell you, I had an extensive conversation with Keith Campbell about the clock, yes. When we were having it replaced. And he is one of the ones who's adamant about it being here because apparently his wife was instrumental in.
You know, it's real nice when people donate stuff
Yes.
or a club does something like that. But in the end, it's somebody else having to take care of it and pay for it.
I'm not disputing that.
You know, like,
And
we
it
have a
was
name,
the
we have a
guard-
name on that stadium up there at Northside Park, and it needs painted. Well, if that name's up there, can they do the painting up there? Could they take care of it since they want their name on the building?
The clock was from the garden club, correct? I mean, I don't.
I guess they were instrumental in
Yes.
doing that, yes. And she's not in the garden
No,
club
I know.
anymore, and she hasn't been for years.
Yeah.
So, and
I
that's
think
what
it's
I
a
understand is the
beautiful-
garden club's not gonna pay to repair it.
It's a beautiful clock, and it does look really nice in the square. But you are right. we've had issues with it ever since it's been replaced, really. So,
I'm personally, and the bushes around it, if you want to see the people's names, you aren't even going to you're only seeing half of them now anyway, because the bushes are climbing up over them. I mean, do we want our community to look better?
no.
I think I personally think, take the clock out and let the garden club put a garden in there, a flower garden. That's just my opinion.
Definitely something to consider.
Okay, I guess my time's up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Oh, I thought Don was gonna know.
Nobody? Okay. Closing public comment period number 1. Moving on to the consent calendar. Following agenda items will be acted upon by a single motion unless a member of Borough Council wishes a specific item to be voted on separately. Approve the minutes of the April 9th, 2024 Borough Council meeting. Approve payment of all bills listed on the March 2024 detailed checklisting report. And approve the treasurer's report for the period March 1 through March 31, 2024. Any questions, comments on any of those?
Hearing none, I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, no action and discussion items. Which takes us to the president's report. Just a reminder for Borough Council to let,
Rona Hop.
thank you,
I was just gonna
Blanked
write
on
a
her
note.
Rhoda know
Yes.
for the Memorial Day Parade, if you are planning on walking or riding in it.
When does she need to know by? Sooner or later, probably.
Imagine soon.
I would say within the next 2 weeks,
Okay.
if possible, so they can figure out who's gonna be in, okay? Great minds think alike, Jane. Other than that, I have nothing for that, for the president's report. Financial statement, everyone has the financial statement as of March 31st. Any questions on that? Okay. That takes us to fire department.
Do you want to talk about this? Basically, the first item is, with the new regional fire effort, they're looking at doing a DCED study like we did for the police department. So each municipality that's participating needs to approve this letter of intent like we did for, it's just like we did for the police report, so.
And it's not an obligation, it's just for a free study. So moved.
Second,
No, I kind of want to talk about that.
Well, that's
first.
okay, we first and second, so now we can discuss.
Yeah, you gotta have first and second
Yeah.
for discussion.
Yeah, I know. I just. All right. So I guess I'll go first. I understand that, you know, it's no cost to us, just like what we went through with the whole police regional, and we can learn a lot. But I also think that we learned a lot from going through the first study. You know, this has nothing to do, and I want to make that point clear, of that not supporting or anything along those lines. You know, I support the fire, I support the police. I've lived here since I've been 5 years old. This has to do with looking at everything with a thin comb and making sure that it's not costing the residents even more money, because we're being hit by a lot. Not just the economy, the county, the school, and also, I printed out papers, we are the second highest tax in this county. If people want to see, I printed.
It's in our budget.
Okay, so we're at 4.11 mil. Well, I just know, because last time I mentioned that, not a lot of people really believe that we were the second highest, but we are. And so my concerns are more of that, if we move forward with this, is it just Northern Lebanon, or is it many others, like 5 others, which would bring the costs down? If it's just Northern Lebanon, then I think that we should do our due diligence and say, okay, why do they want to do this? Why all of a sudden? I know we've been wanting to do this, because it'll probably go there at some point, but I think it makes more sense to do it with many than just one, just like we've learned with the police when we try to get South Annville, North Londonderry, South London, because that would have brought our costs down and everything.
Do you know how many people they're talking, you know how many fire departments you're talking to?
Yeah, Northern
many?
Lebanon.
There's two fire departments, it's ourselves and the Northern Lebanon Regional Fire Department, which is East Hanover Township, Jonestown Borough, Union Township, and Cold Spring Township.
But that's way up there.
That's just right around the road.
Well, Gravel Hill, well,
It's just the double bridges.
Not only that, I mean, it's a little different than the police department. First of all, they're all volunteers.
Correct.
Second of all, it's just the study to see. It doesn't obligate us to actually do anything. It's just a study to give us some more information on a
This isn't
regional.
forming.
oh no,
anything.
I know that 100%. My worry is this, is that when you move together with study, then people look at it and they feel bad, and then they look at, oh, well, the taxes go up. Oh, well, we should do it because we support, but the taxes go up. But we all want to do the right thing. Because Roger, you said last time, you're like, the fire tax is a little bit, but if, you do the regional, it will go up.
Well, it's gonna go up anyway. 'Cause
Yeah.
If your volunteers
I mean,
fail,
yeah.
you're looking at funding a fully paid firehouse for just Palmyra.
But why don't,
I mean, we've done some of these things, like the incentive program and thing, to keep our volunteers, because we legally have to have a fire department. And if we have to pay, we're talking millions.
no, I know that. I'm just saying, why does Palmyra have to be the first to do the regional every time and have to take that in?
Well,
You
we're
know?
not, there is a regional.
No,
Yeah.
there's another regional, but I just,
And two in Lebanon formed, I forget,
listen.
Never
Listen,
seen
I
them.
don't think it's a bad idea. When it comes to recruiting and like retention and understanding combined, I understand that very, very well. What I'm looking at is the money, and the thing about it is that all I'm saying is that why is it something we have to do right now? I understand that this is free, but I also understand that people, we get hearts and we're like, oh, okay, maybe we should move forward. I just worry about that because I'm looking at the costs with how much this is gonna cost us when we're getting hit by so much people in the borough. I've spoken to residents and they're just like, they're like, how can we keep it? They're like the school and they're like, the borough taxes and everything, what can we do? And so I'm looking at it from that. I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. I'm not saying I don't support it because I do. But I have to also look at it from that aspect too.
but we don't even know anything about any cost.
I think
until
we
the study's done.
all know that whatever it is now, it's gonna
Well-
cost more.
Okay, so here's the dilemma, and this is a dilemma not only this municipality is facing, but every single municipality in the state for sure, if not the country. Our volunteers are strapped by a lot of regulations and training they have to do, and they put a lot of
There's no state
man-hours in.
requirement for training.
But still, they do train.
Yeah, they do train, but there's no state requirement. of
So,
participating.
and they're putting in their time. I mean, to be honest with you, if this regional helps us keep our volunteers, that is a huge plus for me, because I don't
Okay,
wanna.
But then at what expense to the borough residents? And we've always had an excellent police and fire, and we built that new fireplace back in 2014, 2015, 2016, around there. I mean, we've always had excellent, and I know we're gonna go down that path. All I'm saying is, why right now, when we're taking all this other costs as well too? And I understand all that's important, but then what about the residents who live here, who don't? And I'm sorry, but I'm always gonna think of it like that, because I have to, someone has to. You can't just say yes to every little thing, because we wanna do the right thing.
Okay, well, you should know me by now that I don't say yes to a lot of
No,
things.
she doesn't.
So, here's the issue. What harm is doing a study?
Well, I mean, I can use examples with little things. I know you don't say yes, but I know when the software was passed that you guys needed it here, and I was the only one that said no, because I didn't see the benefit of that, and that cost the residents of the borough money. Everyone here passed it but me, because I'm looking at, the borough office need new software for applications and stuff, and I'm sorry, but I didn't see the benefits that our residents needed to pay for that. I don't, and so I was the only one that said no to that. So I am constantly looking at the cost. I know it's important. I've lived here my whole life. All I'm saying is that the borough residents are looking at us saying, help me, help me. And why do we keep saying yes? Why can't we do our due diligence and ask more questions instead of just doing everything that they say to do? That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think this will give us.
But we did the same thing with the police, and everyone had a heart, and we just moved forward with it when we kept going back and forth, back and forth. And so my worry is that we go do this, and then, then we go do this, and then we go do this, and then we move along, then it's like the residents over here, they're the ones that's suffering.
Can I clear something up, though? So this study is not for Kamara Fire Department and the North End Regional to merge. That's not the purpose of this at all. That accomplishes nothing. We have 15 active firefighters, they have 15 active firefighters. What does that get you? Same amount of firefighters.
Yeah.
This is to do a study to form an authority. It's never been done in the state, actually. The authority then handles all fire protection for all 6 municipalities.
Right, yeah.
So the
I know.
authority is the taxing party, not the municipalities.
But
So if the authority ever would come to fruition, Palmyra Borough would not collect a single penny for fire protection. It comes from the authority.
okay.
The authority is a taxing body, not the municipalities.
And I guess it's not a done deal that there would be a that there would be a fire authority. I mean, that's what this
This is a
study,
study.
Right,
right.
it's a feasibility study to see how
Right.
feasible it would be.
I
The reality is that
understand that.
program helped several members to stay active, but it didn't recruit
Right, I
anyone
know.
new. So it's either go this route or
Take
spend
it from-
millions on your own fire department. There's no other answer. Myself, the other leadership, I'll be blunt, we're tired, worn out.
Yeah.
20, 30 hours a week, easy.
I know, but also some residents are working 3 jobs, 4 jobs, and like they're.
What if I stop coming in?
Yeah.
All I'm saying
Yeah.
is that we need to think of other stuff, and we can't just think of me, me, me. We need to think about everybody. That's all I'm saying.
And doing
And I
a
understand what
regional approach
and I
in a
understand what a
cost-effective
study,
way.
and I understand what a study does, but I also understand that we need to look at everything. Like I just want to have more answers than just not what the study is. Like I want to know more about the Northern Lebanon Regional Fire and all of that. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I know you all are in favor of it. It's not that I'm not. It's that I want to do what's right for the residents, and that's why I'm here. I'm not here to say yes to everything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I can probably
And
clear up.
and you don't have to say yes to everything. and
Right.
That's okay.
Thank you.
And maybe through this study, some of us aren't gonna say yes. Time will tell. The study isn't costing anybody anything. So,
No, I get that, and I think
I know you do. I know.
I keep having a reference back to when we did it already before, and then what happened with all of that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that, sometimes
we know what you're saying, Anthony. We
Yeah.
get it.
Okay.
We
So-
we did this study once before with the police department, and it didn't go.
Right.
I was here for that.
But isn't doing the study actually
That explains
looking
why we
out
didn't.
for your residents by determining whether or not it is a good decision? I mean, you can't just sit in a status quo 24/7 in this community. You have to look at ways to help those services that you are obligated under the law to provide.
Well,
So
we
doing a
should.
study like this is actually doing something on behalf of your residents to find out, does it make sense for them?
No, I think we always should, but I think we also need to keep in mind, like, really what's going on. Like, walk the streets around here, look at the people, talk to them. I understand everyone's hurting now, but I mean, like, we can say that for every little item. And the thing about it is that, come on. Like, I understand, and this is no disrespect. I know you guys work your butt off, and I appreciate everything. And I want to do what we can, but all I'm saying is that what about the residents as well, too? We need to pay attention to both, not just one. That's all I'm saying. So, I mean, however you guys want to vote, we can vote. But that will be my whole stance throughout this whole process is what's best for the residents. And I understand you can look at it from both the fire, police is very important, but also someone needs to keep them in mind with every decision we make. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and I agree with you on that. The only issue is, we have been talking about fire protection for at least as long as I have been on council, and we all know where it's heading. I mean, all you have to do is read any article on fire protection and the crises that municipalities all over the state are having with volunteers. So I think it's just good due diligence to find out what we're looking at.
And I understand it's just a study. And Chief, I commend you guys for what you do. I did 32 years in your seat. I was paid for 8 of those. I grew up in a firehouse. You know, the day I was born, I was put on a fire truck. That's how I grew up. I grew up in your boots. And seeing, getting some reports, seeing you guys are out the door in 2 minutes is awesome. For a volley station to get out those doors in 2 minutes, it's absolutely amazing. I do have a lot of friends still in the fire service through this area in the state. One of my old chiefs is Bruce Drago, used to be the fire commissioner. He's one of my old chiefs. I grew up learning under him. Northern Lebanon Fire Department has a lot of issues. Not saying we're gonna merge with them or anything. I know this is a free study. But I've talked to some of my friends up in that area, and Union Township just had to bail them out $300,000 for a new ladder truck in Omaha, or they would have went bankrupt. They're scratching, they're not getting out the doors. Jonestown, Station 10, used to be one of the premier companies in Northern Lebanon. They can barely make it out the door with a crew. And I get the idea of regionalized. I used to sit in his seat wanting mergers. But you guys, you've been up there, what, 4 times this year? At least 4 times. You know, majority of our calls are down here. A lot of the companies up there that refuse to merge, Fredericksburg, Bunker Hill, Mount Zion, are very good fire companies of their own. But they did not go because all the other ones wanted the money, because they didn't have it. Those 3 companies had the money. My thing is, maybe we need to look at a different incentive to help these guys out. Because my thing is, and I've been in his shoes. You get called up in the interstate because you have 4 or 5 tractor trailers piled up there, and all of a sudden you got a burn in your borough. That sits in your gut. I want to see our borough protected as well.
Well, let's reiterate that this is not about merging departments. This is about creating an authority which will help those departments within that authority, correct?
And for our response times are awesome, but primarily due to our live-ins. And we just lost 2, and we're probably gonna lose another 2 in the next 2 months. It's due to life.
Yeah, graduation, getting through fire academy, I get it.
Yeah, so live-ins are very simple, and we don't have anyone to backfill with. So you see the numbers, we're averaging over 7 people per call, 4 in a fire truck. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's
It doesn't
typical
matter if
anywhere
we're in
anymore.
fire or a med sys, our numbers don't really change.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're not sitting in progress, you know, we're not,
Oh, they came.
and they're getting hard. I mean, they're just getting minimum staffing.
Everyone.
But, and the thing is, and I don't like Anthony, I don't wanna get us stuck paying for Northern Lebanon.
No, I
You
mean,
guys work too hard to build a name, cause this is one of the best companies in the damn county, and I know it.
I think, you know, if we all want to do the study, that's fine. I'll vote for it, but I think what I said, we need to keep that in mind. And I will reiterate it over and over again. But we can do the study and we can learn more, but I hope then we do our due diligence properly, unlike before in some situations. All right, so.
And don't get me wrong, we all do keep that in our minds, Anthony.
Okay.
I don't want you thinking that we don't, because we do,
Okay, no, I
We
believe
do.
you. I believe
we
you.
do. I don't want you thinking that we just brush that off, because we don't.
President, Chair, I have one quick
I mean,
question for
I
the
for
chief.
sure don't.
Now, I noticed on here it says about having paid drivers.
It would be career staff, not just chauffeur. Chauffeur doesn't accomplish anything.
Okay, I just saw in here that it's talking about full-time paid fire.
Part
Okay.
of the study would be the feasibility and cost of having paid staff.
Yeah, paid staff in here probably running about 4 million.
Oh, so that's a good question. So if the authority would hire paid volunteers, I'm sorry about that, paid firefighters, would they be able to work at all the different departments under that authority? Or would they be,
I mean, a rough model would be the authority would be the hiring agency.
okay,
That
okay.
collects all the revenue as well.
okay,
And then, so say that that's our 2 departments, there would be
Right.
probably Jonestown Station and our station would have paid staff in 24/7.
okay,
It's one of the options that we're looking at.
okay. Thank you.
And then would that be a fire tax? How are they gonna get the money for the authority?
The authority with tax.
So it would be a tax.
It'd be a fee.
Everything's a tax.
It'd be a fee.
A tax, yeah, it's a tax.
Be a
Okay.
millage on the property.
Just wanted to make that clear.
It's like what
Anthony, I'm not arguing with you. I'm a taxpayer. Every one of my members is a taxpayer.
Hey, listen, I have to, I get that, but I have to look out for them. Like I said, I
So what's gonna
support,
happen if we don't get out the door?
hey, but what
After
about,
their house
but what
is on
about
fire,
Mary over there
bills
who
come.
can't cook for her kids for 2 days straight? I mean, there's things we have to look at, every scenario. I'm not saying it's not important, but I am bringing it up, that's all. We have to also talk about that, and it's not disrespectful, but
I'm not
it,
taking it disrespectful.
and I appreciate that, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all, but I'm saying that we need to think about it from all that, because it is a tax. But let's do the study. I'm fine with doing it. It doesn't cost anything, but I just want my points, and that's why I said I just want them to be heard. That's all.
All right. Any other questions before I read the motion? Jim?
No.
Okay. All right, so the suggested motion is.
Sorry, I thought you read the motion. I'm so sorry.
We have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you made the
I
second.
got it. I was like, I got all, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Penn State Health Ground Ambulance Service Provider Agreement.
Part two, a similar discussion. Penn State Health, they came and met with me and Brenda. They provided the sheet in your packet that summarized their call volumes and everything for the year. They've never asked for any monetary assistance from Palmyra to have their ambulances serve this area. But it looks like they're to the point too where they can't do it for nothing anymore for free. So they're looking at trying to establish an agreement with the borough to have Penn State Health as our first due advanced life support people here. And we would pay like a per capita kind of fee as part of that. The other part that they brought up is they're currently paying $23,000 for their space in the new firehouse, and they were hoping that as part of this, we could figure out some way to make that go away. So whether that's, if the fire department needs that money, we provide, us in North Londonderry would subsidize that $23,000 so that Penn State does not have to pay that anymore. So that was one of the other things they asked.
So what are they looking at per capita? Did they give you an idea?
I don't, yeah, is it in the agreement?
And what does that total? No, because I
think it's-
read about, because I didn't have the last, we had this several years ago too, an agreement, but I didn't have the last one to sort of compare. Plus, they bill the resident who they take on the ambulance.
What's that?
They
Yes,
bill
they
the,
do.
Bill
yeah.
the resident.
And so then they're trying, so it's like 2 for
Yeah.
1.
But their costs are never covered.
Yeah,
Well,
they
I
lose.
get
yeah,
that.
They explain how they lose on every call, even with the insurance billing.
All insurance, I mean, I've been Medicare for 26 years. All insurance billing is based on Medicare rates.
Medicare's $400 for an ambulance.
That'd be
That's it.
$400.
That's it.
That's it?
And the
Doesn't
cost,
matter if it's advanced or basic.
I think they said the cost of each run is like triple that.
I was gonna say, from what I understand, only because of my new position, they're like anywhere from $1,000 to like $1,200.
Oh, no, you're low.
Oh, really?
Our BLS rate is 1,800 where I work, starting.
Really?
It's very, like, I was calling 1,000.
I mean, just for the helicopter start the motor, that's 10 grand just start the motor.
The question I have, Roger, actually, is kind of an expert in the field. Are they assuring there will be a ambulance with a paramedic in Palmyra 24/7? Because there's not now.
Yes, I think that was one of the benefits.
I was just make sure, for anything you can discuss or agree upon that, because there's not one here all the time.
Right.
There's one
And-
here, but not always staffed.
Right, and they explained that also.
And that could be a requirement that you definitely
Yeah,
stipulate.
definitely put that in the agreement. The agreement that they gave us is not specific to us, it's just a template, so we would have
And
to,
they didn't list a per capita fee?
I don't believe they gave us one.
And they want, so they want us to vote on it if no,
No,
No.
it's just the,
It's a
how
knowledge
receptive you
kind
are
of
to,
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, to begin working
So
on
they
it.
want a per capita, and they want the 23 that they're paying for fire station space.
It's a lease for the fire station space.
And they said that'd be split between us and North Londonderry.
Yeah.
Will North Londonderry agree?
That I don't know, because I don't know when, they hadn't met with North Londonderry yet.
Well, and I would assume that they would have to have both municipalities on board to do this. You can't just have one.
I would think so. It would certainly make sense.
Question, the 1,352 calls, is that specifically just to us?
I think
Or
that
is the
was,
79 us?
can't be us.
That's mutual aid.
The 1,352?
In what, a month, a year?
Oh, that's the year.
For the year.
So it's about 3.7 per day.
yeah,
So this is just the borough, or is this
Yes.
the?
just the borough.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming it's just the borough.
Yeah.
Based on numbers. Our food run over 12,000 a year, so.
Yeah, it's,
EMS is busy.
yeah, that number is spot on. I mean, because trust me, my Kendall's 911 is dinging for the borough quite a bit during the daytime when I work. It's,
I listen to it on the radio every day.
yeah, so you can hear it.
During the daytime, they probably come at least 4 or 5 times, and that doesn't include the 4 or 5 times at 3 to 11 shift. I'm sure it's guys all day at midnight, but they easily do 8 calls a day for
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'm
What's the alternative
just throwing this out.
on this?
Sorry.
What's the, like, if we were to say, we don't wanna do this, I mean, does that mean we won't have ambulance?
Or it just be how it is.
They don't have to house here.
Okay, that's the major part of it?
Yeah, the backup
Yeah,
comes
you're
out of
gonna-
Hershey. Right now, the backup comes out of Hershey for there, or Annville.
Or Hummelstown,
Oh, no, depending.
or Hummelstown, or wherever, first
Wherever
aid and
Wi-Fi's
safety
at.
patrols are backup,
Admin.
because they can't, the way he was explaining it to us, there are some times where there's none available.
Or would an option be to nix the per capita fee but get rid of the 23,000 lease?
That's why I'd like to see what the per capita is,
I think we had just request to them to ask what their per capita is,
what they're thinking of.
bring it up later.
And we will look at our budget. If we can eliminate that and still be okay.
Please, please do the,
Absolutely. Or if we can reduce it. I gotta talk to Andy, obviously.
Okay.
I'm not promising anything.
thank you.
Thank you.
So are they looking for an answer anytime soon, or, well, I'm sure they are, but,
Yeah, I mean, they just wanna know how receptive you are to it, so we can start actually working on something
well,
specific.
it's a little hard to be
us.
receptive of something when you don't have all the facts, so.
The per capita was a couple bucks per population.
What's,
So 73, 80 times whatever, $3 to $5 is probably what they're looking at.
would they be able to get that to us? Cause I would,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll find out.
Yeah,
what
I
the
don't
specific
wanna
number-
okay anything without knowing what
Yeah, I
that
wanna
would
see
be.
the numbers.
And we have to hear
And
from
what
council.
you can find out about the 23.
Very receptive to the numbers.
So I'd actually make a motion that we table this until we get the numbers from them to discuss at a later
Yeah, I
meeting.
don't-
There's,
we don't
there's,
need
there's
a
no motion, there's nothing to
Well, meaning that
consider.
we table it and.
Right. Right, basically, what they wanted to know is council interested in discussing further?
Yeah,
Yes.
I would say so.
Yeah, then hard to discuss without
Yes.
information,
Need more info.
Yeah,
all the info, I should say.
Yeah,
lack of info, need more.
please send more.
Yeah.
Well, now that we know you want it, we can go get it.
Okay, thank you.
And I know they're not here, but on my other hat on, and that is right out in today's society, being able to 15 minutes or less, you're having a very good day.
I'm sorry?
Being able to 15
Yes.
minutes or less, you're having a good day.
Yeah.
We've had some calls pending at work for 15
Jeez.
minutes, 16 minutes.
Cap.
Now, they're like classroom non-emergency, I feel like I can't get up type calls.
Still,
But but.
Yeah, but if you're having a heart attack, 15 minutes is a heck,
That's-
or a stroke,
I was
15
gonna
minutes
say
is
it's
a
an hour.
long
Sometimes you
time.
get there really, really quick, I mean, but
Yes.
at work, I'm on the squad,
Yeah.
and it's not uncommon for me to respond from Dauphin County to Birch County line.
Oh, my
20 minutes,
goodness.
25 minutes. So, I'm not saying pick Lifeline EMS, I'm saying having EMS in your community is very important. That's why I mentioned about, I would 100% make sure that at states you'll have a NICU, which is a paramedic and an EMT here 24/7.
And
That's a
If
good
you're gonna
point.
pay.
It's a very good point.
in 2023, their average response time was 8 minutes and 17 seconds, according to their records.
It varies tremendously.
And South Londonderry doesn't have anything?
If, first aid and safety patrol, which they pay.
Oh, they do have one?
And that's coming from Lebanon,
No, it's
isn't
an
it?
ambulance in
Oh,
the
do they?
South End.
Oh, okay.
But they, I don't know what they pay, but I know they have a contract with South Londonderry.
They have, okay.
Yeah, first aid safety patrol. But Lifeline EMS provides them with a paramedic.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
Good to know.
Thank you.
Thank you. EMS is way more complicated than fire. That's a whole separate meeting. Much more complicated.
Okay. All right, anything else under fire department?
That's
Chief,
enough.
Real quick, how many people do you have, your members live in the borough? Rough guess.
No, I have two active that live in South Londonderry. Everyone else, in the borough.
In the borough.
No, I have to look. Everyone lives in the borough township except for, the active, except for two that live just in South Londonderry.
For those, I've said this numerous times over the course of the year, especially when I get on Chief Dugan's bad side, but, my cousin was chief of Fredericksburg Fire Company for a long time and had nothing but glowing remarks for Palmyra's Fire Department, so.
Was this that meeting with Joe the other day?
Yep.
Yeah, what, yeah,
Said,
what?
I was at the meeting with the
Yeah.
mayor the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had our fire department being their backup because of how good our fire department is, so. It's been a while since I said it, so just remind everybody.
One of the best. Anything else for fire? Okay, all right, that takes us to the library report. Everybody should have it in their packet. Any questions for Jane? Anything else to add? All right, that takes us to police department. Chief?
Any questions on the monthly report? So, what would your thoughts be if I could reach out, have Roger reach out to Gazelle about another ordinance for like panhandling, loitering? Thoughts on that?
I'm gonna sound very ignorant here, but we don't have anything like that on the books? Has there been an uptick in it?
You have enough people that panhandle,
Go for it.
and and there's really nothing to charge, we usually do something else that they violate. It'd be nice to have that.
Yeah, go for it.
Another tool in your toolbox.
There you go.
If
Well,
it's
and
needed, then I
again,
would say go
at
for it.
At least get the information, of course.
Yeah.
Can you send them what I gave you to see what?
Yeah.
so we think about that one?
Sure.
Okay. I'm just gonna give her the Reading City one that we had. It was like aggressive panhandling, loitering. Now, I know she'd have to make some tweaks. to
Okay,
it
so-
just in case.
I gotta ask, so are you talking about like panhandling, like the people who stand outside of Weiss and Walmart?
Yep.
Okay.
They're coming this way now. So, this is just a nice little tool to have so you can, like, we might have dealt with some people the other day.
Yeah.
Twice, and then once over the weekend, so it's something you have and you have nothing on the books to deal with.
And they're just
Okay, but-
standing out in front of, like, in
Well,
just
no,
areas.
they'll walk up the cars with the kids. and
That's,
say,
okay,
We need money, we don't
So I
have
guess that's-
food,
Yep,
we don't
yep,
have
go
this.
for
Like
it.
the guy
Go
that
for
sits
it.
out in front of Lowe's there at the red light
Yeah.
there.
You
but,
got me with
but
kids.
if somebody is just sitting there with a sign that says, please help,
You gotta go to. We're gonna get rid of
What?
you want them all together.
Yeah, no,
Because all you're doing is inviting people to come and loiter and cause problems. And most of the people are gonna use the money you give them for drugs. Because, I'm just saying though, because if they say, can you give me money for food, I bet money that if you said to them, how about I go buy you
Yeah.
food?
I know, it happens a lot. You hear a lot about that. I just, in my mind, if somebody's sitting there with a sign that says, please help me, and you stop and give money, rather than somebody coming up and knocking on your window, to me, that's a
But
big
you're also
difference.
reading the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Whether they come up to your car, you go up to them, you're showing them that you will give them money.
Yeah.
There's a reason to sit here, there's a reason to stay here. Tell them where to go. You can go to the care and covered. Shiloh will help them. She will find them a place, she'll let them shower, she will do whatever she can. Nobody ever seems to take her up on it.
Okay, oh,
The ones that used to be down there are no longer down there.
And not saying these are, but I know you've seen it, some of these people do it professionally. That's,
Oh,
they make more money than we do.
So, it's just a tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do it.
If it's needed, I'd say do
Good.
it.
well, at least find the information.
Everybody okay with that? All right, anything else? Okay, anybody have anything for the chief? No? Okay.
I have a question. So it looks like the numbers we're about half of what we were all of last year. I don't know if it's really a question, but is there anything you can comment on that? I mean, we can't necessarily predict why and when anyone will commit a crime, but
Imagine when you start dealing with problems, you tend to have less of them, so, that's a good way to describe it. You have people driving around without a license, you give them citations when you stop them, you don't cut them brakes. You have people that, 10% of your problems are, or, sorry, 90% of the problems are caused by 10% of the population. So when you deal with that 10% of the population, you deal with them and address them. Honestly, a lot of it is, you can get arrested, you can comply, or you can move. Honestly, those are basically your three options. You've had a lot of people that have complied, and you've had a lot that have moved. That's why your numbers are dipping. And you're actually starting to like stable, because you have people that don't want to drive through here, because they know you have people that sit and actually run license plates. They come up, they hit, they don't have insurance, they come up with no license, they stop, they get a ticket, they tow their cars. So it's not a benefit to drive through here. So that's why your numbers are sort of, even like your drug possessions, it's not that they're not out hunting for them, it's just people don't come through this way anymore. That's what a lot of it is.
Good.
The other day, I was talking to a resident, and they said, you know, it's gonna be like Derry Township, these cops are just such a pain, you know. And I started laughing, and I was like, you know, that's probably the best compliment you give.
Yeah.
So, it's working.
Well, you know,
Thank you.
I hear, I must be old because now I listen to a local AM radio station. But a lot of times I hear, even being reported, that you caught somebody that Lebanon was looking for because some plate was run or something like that, so,
Just follow the crime watch, you see it all the time.
yeah, well, yeah.
Yep. Anybody else?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
You're welcome. All right, that takes us to Rec Commission.
You should probably have it within the next week. Oh,
April 17th, yeah.
yeah, no, 2 weeks will be the meeting, so you should have it probably in the next week and a half.
All right, which takes us to the solicitor's report. You have in front of you, Roger put in our spots, ordinance number 830, amend chapter 314, streets and sidewalks.
Yes, she just sent it to us yesterday. That's her letter explaining things and the draft ordinance. And with all her draft ordinances, you have to kind of compare what she has written in the draft ordinances, what is being changed. So if you compare that to what the existing language is, you can see the changes.
Oh, good, that's always fun.
Yeah, that's fine. One of the things we were hoping to accomplish with this is we were hoping that we could make our specs easily changeable by resolution, and she clearly specifies in the letter that you can't do that, so. So we won't be able to do that, but
So we will just be discussing this more at the next meeting,
At
till
the
we
next
have
meeting.
time to digest it?
Yes.
So this is
Exactly.
for the next meeting.
yep.
Okay. So everybody look over this for May 14th.
We also had her work on a simple agreement with, for private property owners. We've been getting some requests for street sweeping. Regal Airport would like us to sweep, and we sweep South London area, so they're like, when you're coming by here, can you do the airport? Well, it's private property, but it's kind of a public use airport, so it's like, so I asked Giselle, can we do that? She said, sure, it's becoming more and more of a thing, especially with street sweeping because of MS4 stuff. So she developed a simple, like, fill-in-the-blank agreement kind of thing for the property owner, the address, everything. The only thing we'll have to do is, she said we need to have a standard street sweeping rate,
I was gonna say.
so that it's the same for everybody that asks for that service. Because, Palmyra Shopping Center may ask at some point, and then we would have everything in place. They just have to sign the agreement.
I'm a little concerned about man hours.
Scott didn't seem to have a problem with it, so, in fact, he's the one that brought me the attention of the airport, so.
Okay. Do we have any other ordinances that might have to be updated, that we can do it all at one time? Or that we're thinking of?
Not at the moment, no,
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Well, I mean, if this and that goes through, maybe, I hate spending the money on the advertising.
Yeah, and it depends on the type of ordinance, like a zoning ordinance, because I know they're working on a list of things to update in the zone, but that has to be done completely
Yes.
separate anyway, so.
Okay.
I think that's it for the solicitor.
Okay, zoning officer, codes enforcement officer monthly report. Don't have that. Is that next month?
What's
Next
that?
week? We don't have the zoning
Because
officer.
it only ends
Oh, it was
today.
probably on the last.
Well, the month only ends
Oh,
today.
yeah, we'll get that next packet. Zoning hearing board, no hearing scheduled for Monday, May 13th at 5:30, which takes us to the borough manager's report. Phase A, stormwater project, West Front Street restoration.
Yes, in the contract for that job, Kinsley had a section in there for road restoration. We got the prices from them. And Mike now said, it looks a little high. So he contacted Pensy, and Pensy gave us the prices, and
Yeah.
Mike
double.
put them in that chart, so it's obvious.
Just a little different.
A little different,
Double?
half, it was, literally half the cost, so. The only thing we have to decide is, do we want to do the full width of Front Street, or do we just want to do from half over? That's the two different prices that they gave us, so.
We can do the full with Penzi cheaper than we can do the half with
Exactly.
Kinsley.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
That's probably because of their name too.
So, I mean, okay. Is it foolish to only do half?
I was gonna say, it ain't gonna get any cheaper if you wait.
Yeah, well, and not only that, I mean, you see what happens when part of the street's done and part of it's not.
Yeah.
yeah.
How
And,
soon will it be till we have to do the other half?
right, well, and not only that, I mean, I'll tell you, 422, it's a perfect example. When I'm driving down to Anvil,
Yeah.
I drive like this, then I go like this.
So do I.
Then I go like this.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's just easier to do both now, you
Yeah.
get your water, you get it crowned correctly and everything else, you're not fighting a second crown to
well,
make sure.
yeah,
water-
and how much is it gonna be if we have to do the other half in a year or
It might be
two?
more.
And it's not double what half of
Penzi
it
will
would
be
be,
charging
so.
what Kinsley is for half.
And where does this start at again? Just,
It's West Front Street, pretty much from the intersection of, I guess it would be North College down to North Locust, pretty much. Because that whole area's been disturbed, because they put new stormwater pipe through there.
It's a little bumpy.
these roads.
Oh, there, it's.
We're getting there. We're
I
getting
know,
there.
We're making progress,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but now it's the alleys.
Well, doing it
Slow and
half, but doing
steady
it half
wins
is
the
gonna add
race.
to the problem eventually.
Well, this is
Yeah.
Front Street, so
So
this
you-
is.
you don't need a
yeah,
motion
And the
or anything.
alleys
Oh,
are,
I know. Well,
but our alleys, a lot of
No, I don't think I need a motion, but
consensus.
if there's a consensus that, I mean, I was leaning towards recommending that we do the whole think.
Yeah,
It
the
makes
whole
sense
thing.
to do it.
I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
We have a
Not to do it.
consensus?
Right.
Yeah,
I'd say do the whole thing.
Consensus?
the whole thing.
Consensus?
Yep.
Okay. There's your consensus.
Speaking of roads, Roger, when are we looking to start touching up alleys?
Oh, you-
Well, we work on them pretty much when we can work it into the schedule. They've already been working on them in a large part of the borough. But, you know, now the grass is growing.
Gotta mow
Like a
the others.
weed.
We have to do street sweeping now this time of year.
Chipping.
We got chipping collection 1 week a month, and we have 4 guys. So,
I know right here at Plum, that's bad. I mean, I've heard some people complain on that one. That's getting pretty nasty.
Oh, the alley that you fixed at next to Rainbow Snow, it's great. I use it a lot. But when you go through it then and then it like dips down, that's like all messed up though, holes, and I wasn't sure if that's an area that we typically fix or not really.
they probably didn't go that far. I
Okay.
don't know.
Yeah, cause like
'Cause I think they went
it's
to that
like
first
perfect, and then
north-south.
it drops down a little bit, and then it's all like, yeah, holes and everything, and then then you go up, then everything's fine. But
A lot of
yeah.
people use that. I don't know if that's gonna be
Oh, that's gonna be recurring.
asphalt or something.
Our alleys
but-
get used a
Yeah,
lot.
we're planning on paving that section that
okay.
which may be why there's a difference there, because they're gonna put asphalt on top of it yet, so.
Oh yeah, because now that he is parking there, that's gonna be used like crazy. Yeah.
Like my neighbor down behind me down the alley, he actually brought a truckload of stone in and filled in his section of the alley and his driveway.
Jeez.
Can you add Wagner Alley to the list to check? There's a beginnings of a pothole towards Arch. And, what's the name of the street? Mark Street. Maybe 10 feet in from Main Street, there's a pothole.
Okay.
A nice sized one.
Nice size one.
I try to avoid it every time I turn onto Mark Street. Anybody else? Okay.
And the second part to the Phase A system is, the railroad boring was supposed to start Monday, but then the railroad bureaucracy got involved and the paperwork wasn't done for the,
Flaggers.
yeah, I'm sorry, the construction monitoring and flagging agreement. That wasn't signed by Ken, so everything's signed, I sign it, they sign it. Now it's in their, with their scheduling queue,
Oh,
which could be up to 90 days. So
well, we waited 14 years.
Kinsley basically, yeah,
What's another 90 days?
What's another 90 days?
unfortunately,
Actually, 15 years.
they had to pull this crew out of here because they have to put them to work somewhere else
Yeah.
until the schedule
That
can be
makes sense, though. You
arranged.
can't be
So-
down
No, they
there.
can't, so.
Can't stay there for 90 days.
So if you see nothing happening there, that's why, so.
And we're pictures, Don, not for a while.
So close.
The only other thing that I had for this evening is, previously I had mentioned about there was a company trying to put their name was Divert. They wanted to put, at Philadelphia Mixers, they wanted to put a grocery, expired food recycling center. So we did they put an escrow payment down so that the engineers could do studies on the strength of waste, the sewer flows and everything, and that report came back that their strength of waste would overtax the plant. The borough would wipe our capacity out. We
Yeah.
would have to negotiate with the authority to buy more capacity. It would also probably kick in EPA requirement for strength of waste protection agreement, which we don't have now. Nobody wants one. So we reported that back to them, and they just let me know today that they've pulled out of here. They're gonna look somewhere else, so.
That's right.
They were just happy that we were willing to work with them and try to figure things out, so. So they'll be looking for a new
Yeah, I
location.
can't imagine that North would be very happy about it, EPA getting involved in.
No. Unfortunately, it just wasn't a good fit, so. So that won't be happening.
Well, I can't say that I'm totally disappointed.
Yeah,
It's
me
not,
neither.
I want business to come to Palmyra, but that wasn't, to me, the most attractive business that could have been here,
Me neither.
so.
I'm with you, Jane.
That's all I had.
Okay. No communications? Any other business? Chief? Marcus?
Two things.
Okay.
Number one, the sinkhole on the private property on North Forge up by Jane's house there. Is there any way we can send the property owner a letter about repairing this? Cause this sucker is 20 feet deep.
Yeah.
It's 95 feet from dead center of the railroad tracks. I know Chief and us don't wanna have an East Palestine, Ohio here because it bores on the railroad tracks and we have a nasty fire there.
He said it cost $100,000, I heard, the owner, and he's filled it in and.
Well, he's
No,
filled in numerous ones on that property. Yeah,
And
it-
now, nice weather, I saw kids out there playing the other day, and
Yeah.
one of them falls in there, these poor guys are gonna be
So
out there
there
rescuing
was-
kids. and-
there was even one that's closer to the railroad tracks that was filled in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, because I would like to know what's going on with that, because that orange fence keeps getting wide.
Yeah, and that's not even the worst one.
Oh, it's not?
No.
That's the only one we can see.
That's not the worst sinkhole that's been in that basin.
Yeah, there's been bigger
No,
ones.
yeah, much bigger ones.
Yeah, it's right there, the orange snow fence.
I remember that was cornfield.
Parking lot, steps into
I remember
it,
that was cornfield.
Crystal clear.
I don't know if we have anything that we can actually like use to leverage them to do it or not. We'll have to do some research on that.
Yeah, 'cause it might fall under safety somewhere in there with,
Yeah, I don't know.
or the railroad, that you might be able to pull some leverage there.
It's outside of the right of way.
Yeah. And the other thing I was wondering, did you see, what does the borough do for the fire company? I mean, do we give them a tax break or what do we?
They get an incentive.
what's
The
the
more
incentive?
Give them money.
calls- Yeah,
What do we give you now?
It's 225 total, Queensboro.
Yep, so we give them $225,000
Okay.
for their incentive program. The problem is, we increased the incentive program last year, and it did nothing. That's the chief coming to us saying, hey, I'm not even gonna ask for more money because it didn't do anything.
and it does help retain.
It retained.
Doesn't help recruit.
We retained a handful of people.
Retained,
but
it didn't
definitely
recruit any new.
recruit and
Right, we didn't come up with new-
expand out as we hoped.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because I know one thing I've researched in the past, and I've actually done some document work, is the state and the fire commissioner did a tax relief program for the fire companies where
We did look into that.
where
Yeah.
you can get rid of the
And-
income tax
yeah.
and the property tax for volunteers that make.
Yeah, I suggested that a couple years ago, but
I'm actually anti it, to
Yeah.
be honest with you, for two main reasons. One is, I feel like I should pay the same tax as everyone else for the same level of fire protection. I guess 3 reasons. And the discount really doesn't amount too much,
No.
and probably less than half of my active members actually own the property
Yeah.
that they live in.
Right.
So they wouldn't get the incentive anyway.
On the property tax, and you also have the earned income, I mean, and that's an application, you don't have to apply for it, but, yeah. Just an idea, just looking at ways to help you, I've been there, I've done the chicken barbecues, I've done the bingos.
Well, they're always looking for new volunteers now that you're in town. Maybe we can recruit a new one tonight.
Well, I'm definitely getting more money on those grants with my pro board,
Anything else?
if I make a rake.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Bruno?
Good.
Okay, I got something. Have we looked into, I know Roger, Brenda, I had questioned them on the security system at the, I'm always gonna call it Fireman's Park, sorry. Fireman's Park, Memorial Park. Yeah, I know, that's why I said sorry, I'm gonna always call it Fireman's Park.
that's when I wanted to keep it that.
Yeah, we did. We got somebody very angry at us when I
Yes,
said that
yes,
too.
we did.
Have we ever looked into what a better security system would cost?
I've looked at it in the past. We're actually meeting with someone tomorrow about, our cameras in this building are obsolete. We have one out, there's no replacement for it, so we want to look at
And they're how old?
budgetary pricing for next year for upgrading that system and to see what what is else available for the parks. Because the last time I looked for the park stuff, it was astronomical. Tens of thousands of dollars.
Remember that. Didn't you even give us those figures?
I think I did.
Yeah.
How many cameras are there now? Is it 4?
There's 5 cameras there,
yeah.
2 of them are working.
So kind of going off of that just real fast is, what about with helping with affordability, just get motion sensor videos, cameras that will just turn on when someone's around?
Well, like I
It's
said, I don't know
well,
what's.
there's some cameras that will stay on constantly, and then you gotta get like memory and all of that.
Well, and the other thing is, can they operate off cellular? Do we need to have Wi-Fi? Because there's no Wi-Fi there. So, which means if they need Wi-Fi, then we have to get another internet connection, which we'd have to pay for, and another computer that we'd have to maintain. So
To
it's
jump
just,
on a
you know.
table.
Is there anything that we could get, would it be an option to get something that we could tie into this?
Yeah, I don't
System.
know. I don't, we had
I mean, is
talked
that a
about that.
possibility?
I don't know if there's line of sight between there and here with antennas to bring the
Is
video
that
back.
something you could check into
Yeah,
tomorrow?
like I said, that's the stuff that costs buku dollars. So, but yes, we will check.
It would be great if we could just stop getting people to damage the things at the park.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't think that's gonna be an option.
Now our one table is
Table is, yeah.
busted up, so
And that's obviously somebody standing on that.
they're jumping on the end, on the handicapped end. They did that at Heritage Park on those. But we should have never pulled those tables out of the covered pavilion anyway.
No.
That Scott did, so.
Yeah.
He pulled them out because he says people bring their kids and they need a place to sit under the shade. Well, okay,
Sorry.
let's get some benches to put in there. We don't need to have tables in there.
No, those tables need to be protected. Obviously, people can't handle having access to them.
Is that graffiti gone, or is that still,
Guys are painting constantly.
that's,
Yeah, we definitely need to get more cameras up somehow.
Gotta pay for it.
well,
Well,
be
then we
willing to pay
can
for it.
persecute and get the money back.
well, maybe we can
Somehow.
find like a big donor somewhere. Maybe there's like Santa Claus, I'm just joking.
No.
But we need to figure out something to do, and I think we gotta look at all angles, you know, not just the easiest solution, which is cameras. We need to look at everything, because we can't have that. Like, that used to never happen when I was growing up. Now
Well,
Different generation.
oh, I know,
Yeah,
I don't
respect,
get these
Anthony.
kids, yeah.
we have
it's-
respect for property.
Yeah.
That was all I had, was just to see if we can check into some prices and some options. Jane? Nope. You got anything? Anthony, you got anything?
I'm good.
Roger, Brenda? All right, public comment period number 2. Please state your name and address for the record and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes. Don? Ready? Round 2?
Did you hear what I said? Oh, you'll have to get up there. Did you hear what I said the first time?
I wrote it down.
Yes. Anybody else? Nobody? Okay, closing public comment period number 2. Borough Council will conduct its next public meetings on Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, and Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.